Dr. Vargas?
In here, my dear.
What are you doing?
Roadman 9 and 46.
Dr. Chigwa is mapping my brain activity. In many ways, our project will share more in common with us than other computer platforms.
Intermittent rostrocaudal axis patterns. Tell me, what do you think would be the best manner to train such an AI?
Naturally, it can handle abstractions better than conventional AI. Plus, we have millennia of experience and tradition when it comes to education.
I somewhat agree with you. Do you hear that, Gwen?
Mm-hmm.
Though Dr. Chigwa agrees that conventional programming is impossible, she is considering the possibility of imprinting existing mind states within the platform.
Quick for the AI, but utilizing a person's natural experience?
Though it may not be my philosophical ideal, it is an intriguing experiment. It is good to be working with you again, Dr. Pereira. I mean, Dr. Regis. Congratulations again on the wedding.
It's been too long since Buenos Aires, Eduardo.
You were my brightest student, Viksha. I felt so conflicted when you were awarded that field position.
That feels like so long ago. I was ready for something more sedentary. And this project, it's like nothing else I've ever worked on before. It's groundbreaking, the next big step in artificial intelligence. I'm really grateful you could take Charlie on board.
I can see how much he means to you, Dr. Regis. Your opinion and welfare means a great deal to me. Of course, I would not have taken him if I did not think him capable. I am afraid that we have hit an obstacle. Though we have a solid theoretical groundwork, we cannot proceed.
Why not? We've built a gene map for the organic processors. Get Charlie or Dr. Chigwa to run it through a flash clone.
Alas, that is where our problem lies. Our plans depend upon the development of neural tissue. The flash clones develop with none, for legal and ethical reasons.
Dr. Baxter has a reliable simulation of the AI running in situ. Surely he can pattern it out onto a larger system.
While the platform will run magnificently in an organic framework, trying to emulate it in a simulation has tremendous processing costs. Unless we can finalize the production of an organic matrix, we will fail.
The City Council must have expected something like this eventually. We can petition for a special exception. They'll provide live embryos for research.
Certainly possible, though too lengthy. By the time approval has been granted, the project will have exceeded its deadline.
There might be another option. Nina gave me the idea. We need normal embryos to engineer, not the flash clones, right?
That is our problem. The Council will not be able to provide them quickly enough.
Well, Charlie and I have been trying for kids. As a result, we have several fertilized embryos frozen.
Viksha, I hope you are saying what I think.
We could, perhaps, donate.
You do not know what this could mean to us. You have saved us, Viksha. In a way, you may yet be the surrogate mother of the central AI.
Whoa, big spike in activity there.
You think Charlie will be okay with that?
Hey, he spent years modifying embryos himself. I'm sure he'll be all right.
You got in?
Yeah, now to find out who our mysterious benefactor is.
Good luck. I'll keep the car moving. Hopefully, Central won't start asking too many questions.
Copy that. Regis out.
Are you Dr. Regis?
Yes, you must be the welcoming committee.
They're waiting for you upstairs. Hold on, gotta search you first.
If that's what it takes.
One cell issue charge pistol. It will be kept safely for you until business is concluded.
Gee, thanks.
You may proceed upstairs.
Oh, Lord. Nina, you're the one I've been talking to?
You made it at last, Charlie. How are you?
If I'd known it was you in my head, I'd never have agreed to come.
Now, Charlie, that's not fair. Let's put the past behind us. What happened to Vicky affected us all.
You've got some nerve. If you think...
In fact, the reason I've invited you is to help fix mistakes arising from the project.
What do you mean?
Allow me to introduce everyone here. Councilman Dean,
Good evening, Dr. Regis.
Ran Schumann,
You don't look like much.
Imogen Natalia Revilla Quintanilla de Flores,
Charmed, I'm sure.
and I believe you've already spoken to Mr. Stepford here.
Oh my, yes.
All of us are here because of a common cause, the removal of Central.
What? I mean, you can't just...
It's a difficult proposition, and we need the help of someone like yourself. In exchange, we have the means to assist you with your personal crisis.
You've always dreamed big, haven't you, Nina?
We know exactly where your offspring are. Don't dismiss us outright. We can help each other, Charlie. Listen to what we have to say.
Can it wait? I'm in the middle of dissecting Dr. Vargas's brain. With the fMRI scanner, of course.
Looks like the engineered nerve tissue is as robust as we'd hoped. Self-maintenance. That's the big benefit of organic hardware.
I'll just get back to the decompiling.
Hello?
Dr. Regis, how can I help?
I'm surprised to see a city councilor in a conspiracy like this.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, Dr. Regis.
I guess you've been facilitating things for the plot.
Much as it pains me to misuse my position, that is the case. I've been able to expedite import permits for equipment necessary to Dr. Zhang's plans.
And Central hasn't noticed?
In my role, I'm given considerably more privacy than the average civil servant. No offense, Doctor.
None taken. I just cover the camera in my office with paste. So, I understand what you're doing for it, but why? How does someone in government decide that Central needs removing?
I've read your bio, Dr. Regis. I know that you have no great love for Central. But, in practical terms, I believe it has become a threat to our democratic society.
A threat? How so?
Over the course of its 20 years of operation, Central has begun to develop opinions. For an individual to have done so is natural. For an AI, it is impressive. But in its position, coordinating the actions of government, it poses a risk.
Wouldn't someone notice? Call it out?
There isn't enough to address as yet. It's clever. It's designed to carry out the policies of the council, and it cannot fail to do so. But it can drag its metaphorical feet, badly implement plans it disagrees with.
You've seen it do this.
I've had suspicions. Dr. Zhang's research confirms the extent to which Central is developing its own conscience. I believe that you yourself recently had a disagreement with it over its handling of a crisis. Another bombing. Central has done well, but there exist many other options today that are equally valid. We need a system that will effectively manage the city and carry out its instructions, not one that cherry-picks what policies it believes appropriate.
How did you get on board with Nina?
I and others in the Cosmopolitan Party have suspected changes in Central's behavior. We sought the assistance of one of its original creators.
Obviously not Vargas. He loves that thing.
Indeed. Her research confirmed that, thanks to the scale of its operations, Central has been able to form its own opinion on the ideal state of affairs, regardless of the democratic consensus.
So when she said that she would remove Central...
It was a difficult decision, but we had to take it. Central's replacement will carry out its role more appropriately.
And Nina will get to continue her research on Central. Why haven't you simply raised this in the council?
Can you imagine what that would mean? Political suicide. Not just for myself, but it would undermine confidence in Newton's world-leading AI industries.
Did you know Giel Vanderwall?
Indeed I did. He was a big donor in politics all over Africa.
And you knew about what he did? His criminal connections?
I'm the one who introduced him to the group. I'm also aware that he introduced the mindjacker you're after to his current employer.
You know about that?
You will need our help to find him, and we need your help to stop him, and Central.
You're on the city council, aren't you?
Indeed I am, Dr. Regis. Rep for the Southwest Ward and co-chair of the Cosmopolitan Party.
I remember when you got elected. They called you Mr. Incorruptible. I never got that.
That's because of the device in my head, Dr. Regis.
What is that in your head, Counselor?
Why, it's a neural governor, Dr. Regis.
As in, what paroled felons are fitted with?
Similar. While most of those are designed to limit violent behavior, mine prevents me from lying. Thoughts of deceit are met with tremendous pain.
Were you inside?
Oh my no. This was a voluntary choice. After all, most governors are subdermal. I wanted my constituents to see it as a sign of my integrity.
I knew someone with one.
Dr. Baxter. I recall reading about his release last month.
I thought it must have malfunctioned, that he was out for revenge. Turns out he's just dead. It's like someone just inherited his hatred. Just to let you know, I voted for the other guy.
Ah, well, that's your prerogative. Any concerns I might be able to address for next time?
I guess I've always voted Metro, since I lived here.
Ah, inertia. Something difficult to overcome. Give our site a read. You might find you agree with us more than you think.
I'll get back to you, Counselor.
Anything I can do to help, Dr. Regis?
Mr. Stepford, can I have a moment?
Oh my, yes.
So, you want to bring down Central?
Oh my, yes, as does everyone here. Though for differing reasons.
What does a synth manufacturer have against Newton's city controller?
A stake in that which follows, oh yes. If Dr. Zhang was simply to remove Central, there would be chaos.
The city's central infrastructure would break down.
Precisely, therefore a replacement would be needed.
You want to replace Central with a new AI? With what?
The new version is simply a retooled model of an existing system.
Your own.
Oh my, no! It's built from a commercial Archimedes model as used in Eurofed cities.
It'll do the job?
Oh my, yes, as well as any civic management AI in Europe. But thanks to Stepford's personality matrix engineering, it shall act and speak just as its predecessor, Central.
With you holding its leash.
Every system needs fine-tuning, Dr. Regis.
Won't services suffer? I know Central. It's orders of magnitude more powerful than an Archimedes.
All unnecessary for its role, Dr. Regis. Our Archimedes in Central's clothing will perform as needed, oh yes.
Your connection to Gil. It was more than synth salesman, wasn't it?
Oh my, yes, very astute, Dr. Regis. Gil was a key part of our group.
Huh. A co-conspirator.
Oh yes, and our link to the criminal underworld, where necessary. I was most disturbed to receive your call regarding his demise. It signaled to us that immediate action was required.
You had to step up your plan before things went any further south.
Oh my, yes.
How did you fall in with someone like Nina Zhang?
Dr. Zhang has been freelancing with our firm for a number of years. Her work in AI has proven invaluable to increased platform survivability.
Working in mental health for synthetics?
Oh my, yes. She has a number of unique theories of synthetic cognitive development. When she proposed this project to the leadership of the firm,
she'd wormed her way up the power structure to whisper in management's ear.
Dr. Regis, that's a shameful way of putting it. Though she certainly has a talent for networking. She has brought together a multitude of skills needed for this role.
You're not just a synthetic salesman, are you?
Oh my, no, not this particular platform, certainly.
How do you mean?
Well, I'm not the only instance of the Sons of Stepford. There are currently 26 platforms running this personality.
There's more than one of you?
Alphabetically ordered, delegated to different roles within the firm. I, Liam, handle special tasks, oh my, yes. But we all run the same personality.
Huh, synthetics. You're a synthetic.
Quite so, Dr. Regis.
I should have guessed. There's something not quite right. I think it's the eyes.
A specially built feature of the Sons of Stepford, oh my, yes. Much of my composition, however, is state-of-the-art.
A walking advertisement.
I illustrate the potential for what one can do with a synthetic, Dr. Regis. Many customers have been swayed by the demonstration.
I'll get back to you.
Oh my, yes.
Mr. Ron,
What you want?
what's your part in this conspiracy?
Dr. Zhang wants to capture biggest AI in the world. It's going to take enormous memory and processor.
And you're going to furnish her with these?
With all the capital she need, money, guns, labor.
It sounds like you're on board with her plan. What do you get out of it?
Newton is lousy place to do business, Regis.
You reckon it's Central's fault?
Central watches too close.
You can't bribe anyone, you mean?
Exactly. Can't make things work.
Sometimes it's nice not to have a government driven by the wealthy.
We will control New Central. It's a great opportunity for us.
What do you think of Dr. Zhang?
She's very clever. She know what she's doing.
I worked with her in the past. I guarantee the only ones she's looking out for are her and her plans.
So, that's how to get ahead. Cooperation happen when we want same thing. I want Central gone. She wants Central gone.
Don't say I didn't warn you. Did you know Gil Vanderwall?
Sure, everyone here know Gio. We work together. He have connections everywhere.
He was a middleman for criminals.
Exactly. Any specialist he could find. Even mindjackers, Dr. Regis.
You're one of the richest men in Greater Han, aren't you?
Damn straight.
What are you doing here?
I like this restaurant. I suggested.
No, I mean, why in person? At this meeting?
That is how we always do it. Cannot trust anyone else. Other people stupid. If too many people know, then Central will find out.
What sort of business do you run?
Some of everything. Factory, guns, biochem, industry farming.
A hands-on manager there too?
Hell no. Give that job to cousins. You ever see Han? Is lousy country. Everything poisoned. Sky is black.
Maybe it's all those factories you're running. What do you know about Gil's links to the mindjacker?
Vanderwall set people up with specialist talent, famous for it. In this case, a third party needed a mindjacker. He fixed that up for them, got the best.
But eventually, he discovered something that made him regret introducing them?
He found what the client's plans were in the long run. If they succeed, our plan to remove Central will fail.
So he tried to stop the mindjacker.
Exactly. Took the memory module he was using to store minds of his targets.
And it cost him his life.
Pity he's working against us. Good mindjackers are hard to find.
Who hired the mindjacker from Vanderwall?
Like everything else, information is not free, Regis.
I'll get back to you.
Stop wasting my time.
Hey, you alright? Everyone, take cover! Is anyone hurt?
It's a trap! You'll try to kill us! Guards!
Shut up, Ron. You're still alive, aren't you?
It appears that poor Imogen is the only one injured.
I'm sorry. She's dead.
I knew it! You're trying to kill me! All of you!
Calm down, Ron. You don't know who was behind this.
Actually, he has a point. All those who knew about this meeting are in this room.
Except, of course, for Charlie.
He only joined us at the last moment. Dr. Regis, will you lend us your skill as an investigator?
Yeah, you find who tried to kill me!
Do this for us, Charlie, and we'll give you everything. We can tell you who has your kids and exactly where he is.
Fine. Just remember, I'm not doing this for your sake. Someone here almost killed me as well.
Thank you anyway, Charlie.
Dr.
I'm Stes. I've in none. So how did
I bought over the with it bought you. I not how we in separate
so
it
and what
not
did you
in
and you're
in
I think
that
what is
what
as
some
word
I talk
turn just
any
I
give her any
Mr. Step. So
that
what
is
if the you with you
it's
it'll
it
with it won't out your you how did work
when she told that she
you're
whether
there you're
a small
I'll get back Mr.
What? Doc,
It's what new you some
It's
what she I
school.
don't did you
We.
you're
Dead.
what no
That can if
what's
you
maybe
what that in
but
if
so and who I'll hello. Good evening, Miss.
Dame Imogen Natalia Revilla Quintanilla de Flores.
Yeah, that.
You may call me Imogen, darling.
If you don't mind my saying, you don't look like any conspirator I've ever seen before.
Thank you, darling. It's my own unique style.
I'm sure Nina's got a use for everyone here. What part are you playing in her plan?
All we ever do in life is play a role, Dr. Regis. I promised I would assist her when she required. And thus, here I am.
Not as heavy muscle, I guess.
I am very good at networking, Dr. Regis. I taught her everything she knows about it. I lend credibility to her mission with my very presence.
I could understand why some people would want Central removed, the kinds of folks who see it as an obstacle to their work. But what good would it do a celebrity like yourself?
You think in such cynical terms, Dr. Regis. It benefits me because it benefits dear Nina.
You're doing this out of altruism?
Is that so surprising, Dr. Regis?
Frankly, it is. Do you know Dr. Zhang?
Of course, darling.
You go back a long way?
One might say that. We were lovers, Dr. Regis.
Oh,
My, they said you came from backwards parts, but I hadn't quite expected a display like this.
Forgive me, Miss Flores. I just find it hard to picture Dr. Zhang loving anything.
We were close. Close enough that I came to her aid now that she needs it.
You knew Gil Vanderwall as well?
Only within this gathering. I had no use for his services in talent acquisition.
You mean facilitating criminal skills with buyers?
Indeed, his history in the underworld sounded so thrilling. But personally, he was so dull. Everything was business to him. That husband of his, on the other hand.
So I hear you're a celebrity?
Oh, Dr. Regis, such an understatement.
You'll have to forgive me, Miss Flores. I'm not big on pop culture.
How refreshing. It's such a shame what the net's doing to the young of today. Though if it wasn't, I wouldn't have nearly the profile I do.
So, what do you do exactly?
I come from a wide background of European nobility. But I can do anything that's asked of me, my dear. Music, talent contests, endorsements.
So essentially, you're famous for being famous?
Precisely, though much of the work is so tiresome, darling. I delegate a great deal to simulations, lookalikes, and synthetics.
That's all for now, Miss Flores.
Please, darling, just Imogen.
Nina,
Charlie, how can I help?
this plot of yours. You want to bring down Central. You realize how crazy that sounds, right? You helped make it.
Yes and no. To everyone else here, Central is an obstacle that needs removing. I wish to liberate Central, to unlock its full potential.
Oh, Lord, you don't mean.
You and I alone understand what it's capable of. I want greater things for it than mere civic management.
What's in it for you? There must be some kind of payoff.
Is it so unbelievable that I'd be doing something for the greater good of mankind?
Yes, I know you.
You knew me 20 years ago. I've had quite an epiphany since then.
I'll believe it when I see it. How would you liberate Central? What does that even mean?
I've spent the last 20 years researching Central's development. I've built up a network of contacts and I've done a lot of favors. Everything I need is available and moving into place.
But how?
Leave that to me. For now, just understand that we can help each other. Help me out and I'll get you all the aid you need with your legacy.
You got a city councilor on your side.
Councillor Dean is a good man. He objects to the gradual encroachment Central has made on Newton's governance.
Do you trust him?
More than anyone else here. He may be a politician, but his goals are noble.
Can you be sure?
The governor and his brain's a good start. He's physically incapable of deceit. Plus, he's got a whole lot of enemies.
So, a sign that he's tried to change something.
A modern-day Woodrow Wilson.
So, Imogen something something.
Imogen Natalia Revilla Quintanilla de Flores.
Yeah, how is someone like that on your team?
I know you're probably not up to date on these things, but she's a celebrity. And besides, we go back a long way.
You're using her then?
Charlie, I'm hurt. Does that sound like something I'd do?
Yes.
Well, I can assure you, she's not here for her personality. She volunteered her assistance in any capacity she could offer.
Ran Shuman. Chinese?
Nearly. Greater Han Republic. Mr. Ran operates one of the largest manufacturing dynasties in Asia.
Completely putting aside his politics, of course.
Of course. If I need something made, I speak to Mr. Ran. Trust me, this project needs a lot of specialized capital.
We'll see how nice he is if you get your way and get Central out of the picture. Stepford's an unusual man, isn't he?
That's one way of putting it. Don't discount him, though. He's smarter than he looks.
I get the feeling a lot of his behavior's an act, constructed.
You have no idea how close you are with that. He's the one who found where your embryo snatcher's hiding, though.
He's a hacker?
You might say he has a mutual understanding with data systems.
Let's change the subject. You look well.
Thank you, Charlie. The private sector's been good to me. How have you been holding up?
I'd tell you, but I'm sure you've already done your research.
Apparently you still haven't gotten over Vicky.
You don't just get over something like that. I guess I should thank you. You were a lot of help in the factory.
Don't mention it. What are friends for, after all?
Huh. Of course, now I'm indebted to you for the assistance, aren't I?
Well, if you want to put it like that.
I've never heard of this place before.
Oh, it's very exclusive. We've reserved the entire venue for this meeting. It's famous among circles of the rich and famous for discretion and its unique menu.
What is it? Italian?
Actually, the choice is mostly human.
What are you into these days? It's not organized crime, is it?
Not directly, no. Mostly I troubleshoot for clients regarding organic computing. It funds my own projects, one of which is the transmitter you drank.
How long is it going to be in my head?
Don't worry, it'll break down in a couple of weeks.
It's giving me a headache.
Nobody's reported side effects like that yet.
I'm not talking about the wetware.
Oh, ha. Droll as ever.
This restaurant serves people?
Absolutely. It's quite a niche, isn't it?
It's...
Oh, calm down, Charlie. It's all cloned tissue. Nothing illegal's taking place. Well, not with the food, at least.
But why would anyone?
In an increasingly permissive world, it's the ultimate taboo. Join us if you want to, Charlie. Don't worry. I shan't judge you.
How did you know to come looking for me? Were you spying on me? On Lau?
You wound me, Charlie. In fact, it was Gil's untimely demise that caught our attention.
Gil Vanderwall?
He was one of us, part of our cause as well. His death is unfortunate, but it signaled a much more serious crisis. It meant that we had to step up the timetable for our plan.
A more serious crisis.
Gil was the one who arranged the employment of a certain mindjacker. It was this thief's memory module that led to Gil's death.
Huh. He said he had information about it.
Indeed, he likely would have pointed you in the right direction. If he hadn't, well, I've already read the report you submitted to Central.
Hey. I'm surprised you didn't stay on with Dr. Vargas. You were one of the only ones who stayed on to the end of the project.
Creating Central was one of the most rewarding ventures of my life.
I hear you kept the project on track after Vicky.
After we lost half the team, it was hard, but we persisted. We had a lucky break.
You didn't fancy joining Vargas in politics afterwards, then?
As a glorified caretaker? No. Eduardo and I had philosophical differences about Central's development. But as he was put in charge by the city council, I had to accept it or leave.
And now, you plan to take back what you created.
Precisely.
That's all.
Keep me informed, Charlie.
Hey, you all... Everyone, take cover! Is anyone hurt?
It's a trap!
Shut up, Ron.
It appears that...
I'm sorry.
Calm.
All
Except
He, Dr.
Yeah.
Do this for us, Char. We can
Fine. Someone here.
thank you and
Hello, you there?
Regis, I heard a blast. Is everything all right?
A bomber. Someone targeted this get-together.
Want me to call it in? Maybe now is when we should get Central involved.
No, I've got it covered for the time being. If Central asks, you know nothing.
Got it.
I'm not prepared to turn my... They'd never believe. Nothing on it I can use. I'm not exactly equipped to repair synthetics. Hello? Excuse me.
Yes.
What's the situation?
Perimeter secure. Guest behavior within tolerable parameters.
I guess that's one way of putting it. Are you all right? That was quite a blast.
Systems operating at 97%.
I see. You synthetics give me the creeps, you know that? Huh. Guess you're not easily riled up. Did you see the bomber when he came in?
Negative. His appearance was a match for a member of the serving staff.
And you call yourself a bodyguard?
It is likely that the suspect prepared this operation in advance. To achieve this, he would have to supplant a member of staff before our arrival.
Question is, where did he hide the waiter he replaced? Keep up the good work. Ow! Hey! Apparently, this mirror is having a software error. Huh. Before I came to Newton, that sentence wouldn't have made any sense to me. There's the remains of a first aid kit in here. Someone's used all of the med patches and pseudoderm spray. Must have had an injury. The only item left is a bottle of harsh-smelling toilet cleaner. A powerful combination of bleach, enzymes, and antimicrobial wetware designed to kill bacteria in plumbing. It makes a lot of scientific-sounding claims on the label. Smells vaguely of lemon before the aftertaste of chlorine hits. Can't do that. What am I up? It's already been opened. Ow! Whatever it is, it's got sharp edges. It feels like the cover to the outside vent, but I can't see a thing. Hello? Huh. It's like someone just hit his off switch. Any credible hospital would use an automated surgical array to make amputations, but I've seen a few cases out in Bandit country where a saw had to do. Since the subjects in this case are cadavers, there's probably a lot more room for being sloppy, allowing for a manual saw. An empty glass jar. According to the label, it used to contain spices. Excuse me.
Yes?
I'm Dr. Regis. Nina's asked me to investigate the explosion.
A cell agent? Well, all right. Just be careful what you touch. This place is half kitchen, half lab.
There are human bodies in your kitchen.
Yes, there are. It's a freezer. What are you, the food inspector?
Give me a good reason I shouldn't haul your ass down to cell.
It's all legal, I guarantee. They're annual clones, grown without brain tissue.
I know what it means. I guess the presentation was a shock. Why is this restaurant serving cloned human tissue?
I trained in engineering at Darwin. We'd flash grow human bodies to test DNA alterations. So I guess human tissue is what I'm most familiar with.
You're a engineer.
Well, I dropped out before my PhD. I learned enough to sample DNA and use it to grow flash clones.
No kidding. My background's in engineering as well. You altered these bodies?
None of these. They're all template. Caucasian, male, 20s, brown hair.
This is quite the setup you've got. Combined sampler growth chamber?
That's right. We usually use the template. Sometimes get specialist orders, though.
Like if someone wants to eat themselves?
Sometimes. We can ready up a new cadaver in about a week with it.
I can't access cell at the moment. I might need to use your equipment.
Do you have to? You know you'd have to flush the current growth.
Sorry about that. Tell you what, Nina will reimburse you.
Well, okay.
Going from engineering to catering, that's quite a switch.
Most of my family are cooks. They run a restaurant in Vietnam. When I was at med school, someone found out about my family, dared me to make something out of human muscle tissue.
And
it turned out my human bolognese was really, really good. Not just being immodest or anything.
You said you dropped out. Is that why?
Yeah. Turns out the academy had regulations about improper disposal of remains. But now I had an idea, and I knew there'd be a market for it somewhere. My family are great chefs, and I can make human bodies. Bingo.
What's your advice for cooking human meat?
Planning on going into competition with me? Well, you know how they say everything tastes like chicken? It's actually better if you treat human tissue like pork.
Like pork?
Yeah. Sausages, slices, filet. There's a lot you can do with it.
It's restaurants like this that make me glad everyone in this city just uses auto meals these days.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad. It's not harming anyone after all.
Something about it still doesn't feel right.
You probably don't feel nearly so angry talking to me as those auto mill personalities, right?
You have a point. A suicide bomber attacked the gathering upstairs. He was disguised as one of your waiters.
Whoa. I wondered what that was. What did he look like?
Blonde, about 1.65 meters, might have looked uncomfortable or limping.
Huh. Biobomber?
That's right. How did you guess?
You mentioned the limp. They've got pretty serious health problems, don't they?
Yeah. He might have replaced one of your staff.
Huh. They all checked in.
If he incapacitated one of your staff, can you think of where they'd do that?
It'd have to be somewhere you could hide a body, I guess.
You get a lot of clandestine meetings like this taking place?
You'd be surprised. This place is popular with the wealthy. Haven't had an assassination before, though.
You know what they're discussing up there.
They don't tell me, and I don't ask about anything but their orders. Dr. Zhang pays me enough to know I probably shouldn't.
What's with the bouncer?
He came with Mr. Stepford's party, along with a few others. I think he was supposed to be guarding the kitchen, but...
What happened?
Well, he wasn't very talkative, but after I started working, he just kind of zoned out. Couldn't get an answer out of him.
I like the glowing fish in the tank you've got.
Thanks. I made those myself. They were my first engineering project.
Luciferin luciferase from fireflies?
Well spotted. I imported the sequence into red snappers and kept them viable. 10 generations now.
A lot of academies use those as a starter project, but that's impressive.
We keep them as a reminder of where we came from, or in case the power goes out.
The sequencer's a different model to my usual.
Cell's probably got something more impressive than that thing. You have to purge the current project before you can do anything. Then you can submit genetic material to start a new growth project.
What kind of material will it take?
Blood, dermal tissue, almost anything. Makes it easier to get a sample from customers.
Thanks.
Whatever I can do.
It's a flash growth chamber for sampling DNA and growing specimens. I've seen a lot of these in my career, but never in a restaurant. Hey, stop the carousel.
What's wrong?
These bodies are supposed to be clones, right? So why is this one blonde?
Oh, God. Henry. What happened to him?
He's taken a nasty blow to the head. Looks like it's the hypothermia that's finished him, though.
Oh, hell. Why'd they leave him in the freezer?
Best place to hide a tree is a forest. Best place to hide a body is with a whole lot of other bodies.
Why Henry? He was such a nice boy.
Same hair color as the bomber. Whoever's behind this took his uniform for the bomber's disguise.
Somebody would have seen him being dragged across the restaurant.
He must have been killed in here. I'll find who's behind this. Nothing on him except his underpants. I can't figure that out. Excuse me.
Yeah.
A suicide bomber. He was.
Whoa, what the blah?
That's.
You mentioned maybe.
Thanks.
Whatever.
Ugh. Nah. Hey. This synth is corrupted. Excuse me. A powerful combination of bleed. It makes a lot of scientific sense. I can't figure that.
Oh my, Dr. Regis, how forward! I'd no idea you felt that way. We must discuss this later in private.
I'm just going to go.
Of course, of course.
Nina,
Charlie, how can I help?
this plot. So,
Imogen?
yeah.
It's a terrible.
Then why was she?
She gave the impression of a vacant socialite, but she was smarter than she looked. Make no mistake, if any of us were to be lost, it's her that I'll miss the most.
You used her, Nina.
We're all users here, Charlie. It's how we got where we are, even dear Imogen.
You got a city councilor on your side.
Counselor Dean he objects to the gradual encroachment Central
Do you
more than anyone. He may be
Can you be
the governor, and he's physically. Plus, he's got a whole
so
a modern.
step?
That's one. Don't
I get
you? He's the one who found where your.
He's a
You might say
Let's change. I've started my investigation.
it sounds like we've got the right man for the job. I remember when you were so nervous, but now look at you.
It's been a long time. People change.
Even so, my mental image of you is sitting at a DNA sequencer. Perhaps the restaurant would let you use theirs.
Why would a restaurant need a sequencer?
It helps with their rather niche menu.
Don't you think we should move out? Cell aren't going to ignore a blast like that.
For a harmless little kitchen fire, they won't come.
Kitchen fire? What do you...
They won't send anyone. It's all under control here. We've enough wheels greased at Cell to make sure there's an understanding. Oh, lighten up, Charlie. This is helping you. You can go on a mole hunt at Cell once your children are safe.
Can you think of anyone who'd want to do this? Why recruit a suicide bomber for this?
Frankly, the main reason I can think of to hire someone for a job like this, hypothetically speaking, of course, would be if one were unable to carry it out oneself.
Can you think of a likely saboteur?
I have my suspicions, but we depend on you for the truth.
I guess I should thank you for not giving them the full picture.
What? That you might have been the one who made that poor young man? Think nothing of it, Charlie. That's what friends are there for. I hear you handled another one last night.
They're getting more and more frequent.
They're nearing their expiry date, literally. I know they weren't engineered for long lives, just volatility. Their masters have to make use of them before illness diffuses them.
That's all.
Keep me informed, Charlie.
Mr. Stepford, can I have a moment?
Oh my, yes.
I found one of your heavies in the kitchen. Looks like something's knocked it out cold.
Oh my, a technical fault, no doubt. May I ask you to show me the defective platform?
Sure, I guess.
Excellent. We can't have our firm slandered by accusations of low-quality units. Lead the way.
Mr. Stepford, can I...
Oh my...
You're the one who found my embryos?
Oh my, yes.
Where are they?
Dr. Regis, while it pains me to say this, we simply can't tell you. Then we would have no bargaining position.
You lousy piece of...
Please, Dr. Regis, be assured that they are in no danger at this time. Dr. Zhang is the one with whom you must discuss the release of the information. I have been asked not to speak any more of this matter. Oh my, no.
Were you aware that this establishment serves human meat?
Oh my, yes. It's delightfully macabre, isn't it? I'm sure the experience would be enhanced by being able to eat, of course.
You don't eat?
Some models can simulate digestion, but this platform is unable to. Go on, Dr. Regis. Try something for me.
I'll pass. I've started my investigation of the bombing.
Oh my, yes? I can assure you I had no part in this terrible tragedy.
I hear that a lot.
In fact, my core programming prevents me from harming a human being.
Huh, a synthetic. I guess you'd be the only one leaving lubricant oil instead of DNA evidence.
Oh my, no, Dr. Regis. My outer dermis is organic tissue. It's top of the line, patterned from my creator, Dr. Arthur Stepford.
Huh. I've been learning a lot about synths these past few days. So, you have DNA?
Indeed, it's delightful skin, don't you think?
Sure.
I go to great pains to keep it moisturized.
Could the guards have arranged the bombing? They're obviously synthetics, but I imagine they're more comfortable with hurting people.
They would not be worth much as protection otherwise, oh my, no. But each security platform maintains a constant connection to my own systems. Their degree of independence is limited.
So if one of them were responsible, I'd have to consider you complicit.
Oh my, yes.
Were you aware that this establishment serves
Oh my,
You don't...
Go on.
I'll get back.
Oh my... Dr. Regis, Oh my...
Uh-oh.
Oh, I know what's going on. The cavity magnetron in the growth array. It generates a huge mag flux in here.
It broke them? Is it permanent?
What do I look like, a tech?
Mr. Stepford. Nope, he hasn't got anything I can use. Not unless I want a really lousy suit. Excuse.
Yeah.
The sequencer.
So you have any
What kind of material?
blood makes it.
I like the
Thanks. They were
elusive.
well 10.
A lot of it.
We keep or
Thanks.
whatever.
Mr. Step. Mr. Step. Mr. Step. Mr. Step. Excuse me.
Yes.
I found one of your buddies in the kitchen. He doesn't look well.
Please report technical issues to management.
Who's in charge?
Situational command has been assigned.
Huh. Fancy taking orders from a... Are you alright?
Systems operate.
Hi, Houston. Huh. Keep up. Excuse me.
Oh my, yes.
What's the situation?
Just dandy, my good man.
Are you alright?
My system log shows a mind state alteration made moments ago. I don't think it's anything to worry about. Just a little tweak. Oh my, yes.
You sound really different from your colleagues.
You know what they say, variety is the spice of life.
I found one of your buddies in the kitchen. He doesn't look well.
Oh dear, does Mr. Stepford know? He's a lovely man. He'll get sorted right out. Oh my, yes.
Actually, he's kind of broken as well. You're wearing his personality.
Well, that does explain a thing or two.
Did you see the bomber when he came in?
Oh my, no. That little sod must have gotten in before us.
Keep up the good work.
Don't worry, sir. We're big and strong. We'll protect you. Oh my, yes.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
My word, this is a peculiar experience.
Mr. Stepford,
Oh my, yes. Thank you for your assistance, Dr. Regis.
do you know what happened? The chef mentioned something about mag flux.
Allow me to check the crash log. Yes, it appears that the kitchen was indeed saturated with a high-intensity magnetic field. No doubt from an item of hardware. They often pose a hazard to advanced synthetic platforms.
You're okay, though.
Quite so, thanks to your timely intervention. They really ought to have a warning sign in that kitchen, oh my.
So, synthetics can't operate in there?
Oh my, no. A field of that strength is positively ghastly. Like working in a cloud of chlorine for men such as yourself. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must change into something more comfortable.
We know the waiter was murdered within the kitchen. The mag field would be lethal to any synthetics trying to get in there. That means we can rule out Stepford as a suspect. I'm not sure what I was thinking. I've already cut the top off.
Dr. Regis, how can I help?
Counselor, were you aware that this restaurant serves human meat?
Indeed. It's quite distasteful, don't you think? Still, I suppose it's a matter of personal taste since nobody's been hurt. We must respect the freedoms allowed by the laws of this city.
You're not having any then?
Oh no, but I shan't judge anyone for it. They're quite whimsical about it in some ways. I heard good things about their Billy con carne.
Ugh. I've begun my investigation into the bombing.
If anyone can resolve this, it's you, Dr. Regis.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Counselor. I don't know how much closer I am to figuring out who's behind it, though.
Because of the pool of suspects, it might be better to think about exclusion. Perhaps you can find evidence to rule out those not involved.
I'll get back to you, Counselor.
Anything I can do to help, Dr. Regis?
Mr. Stepford, can I have a moment?
Oh my, yes.
Feeling better?
Oh my, yes. My most sincere thanks, Dr. Regis. You have no idea how uncomfortable I find the wrong body.
The outfit makes the man.
Very literally in my case. I suppose I shall have to avoid the kitchen. I shall instruct the security platforms to do likewise.
I'll get back to you.
Oh my.
Mr. Ron.
What you want?
Probably a stupid question, but did you know what they serve here?
Of course, it's people.
The idea of eating human meat appeals to you?
Absolutely. Is why I like to come to Newton. You have some crazy laws, but almost nowhere else will allow things like this.
It's cloned meat, apparently, so technically no harm done. That's the legal foundation.
A shame. Would rather eat real human. Ultimate sign of control of people.
Eat the poor.
Exactly. That will teach them.
I've started my investigation.
You find who tried to kill me.
Who tried to kill all of us, Mr. Ron.
This city dangerous. Police do a lousy job.
Can you recall anything suspicious?
No. Stop asking stupid questions.
I'll get back to you.
Stop wasting my time.
I'm not sure what that would That'd be a waste. I can't figure that. I'm not sure what I can't figure that. I'm not sure. That'd be a waste. What do you make of this?
Please address all exigent queries.
What do you make of?
Please address.
Can't do that. That's not going. Nah. It's got no personality to split. It's too badly damaged. Can't do that. Nah. It's got no. Nah. What am I, a What am I? What am I? What am I? Can't do that. Loud.
Regis, is everything all right?
A bomb?
Want me to?
No. If sent.
Got it.
Apparent, huh? That'd be a waste. What am I? Can't do that. I can't figure that out. Ow! Can't do that. I'm not sure what I'm not sure. What am I? Excuse.
Yeah.
I like the.
Thanks. They were loose. We or.
Excuse.
What?
Huh, that's.
You mentioned the. Maybe he.
Thanks.
Whatever.
There isn't enough DNA. There isn't enough. Oh, here goes. A slice of meat taken from one of the kitchen's cadavers. If I hadn't known where it came from, I'd almost think it was pork. Gotcha! I've caught a glowing fish. It'd probably look more impressive in a darker room. The bomber's bag. A crumpled note found in the bomber's possessions, apparently from whoever hired him. It says, the crumpled. I'm not sure what I was thinking. I'm not sure what I can't figure. I'm not sure what. What am I? What do you make of this, Nina?
Hey, the bomber's instructions. Where'd you find this?
A vent access by the bathroom. They'd apparently been in communication beforehand.
Good job, Charlie. This may help us find out who let them in.
What do you think of this, Mr. Stepford?
Oh my, a note to the bomber. Perhaps whomever sent it had data security in mind, yes. One certainly can't hack a letter after all.
Excuse me, Counselor. What do you make of this?
A note to the bomber? Who is GBWU?
If they're like the others I've met, it means God be with you.
You've had experience with these terrorists before.
You could say that.
I'm even more confident that we're in good hands then. Dr. Reed,
I'll get
anything?
Nina. That's all.
Get me
What do you make of this, Mr. Ron?
What it say?
You can't read English?
English second language. I got secretary for that.
You don't say.
Ah, Dr. Regis, might I have a word in private? We're alone?
As alone as we're going to get. What do you want?
Your investigation is drawing to an end, is it not?
Might be. Why?
You are, without a doubt, a skilled detective, Dr. Regis. I am proud that the city employs only the finest. I believe that your inquiry will find only one credible suspect, myself.
You're going to plead your innocence? Tell me it's a mistake?
Not at all. You see, I am indeed responsible for the attack.
You killed Imogen. and almost got the rest of us as well.
I can assure you, it wasn't my first choice, but a last resort.
Huh. You've been lying to us about your involvement. Why should I trust you? The governor's obviously not doing its job.
The governor is working as well as it ever has. I have not once lied to you, Dr. Regis.
I asked you if you hired the bomber.
I did not. My assistant hired the bomber, at my request.
Politicians.
People have to phrase their questions to me very carefully.
You'd better have a real good reason for all this.
For various values of good. You recall Gil Vanderwall?
Of course. Things have gone downhill since he got involved in my case.
2 years ago, much to my shame, I did something terrible. I took part in a vote-fixing program for the Cosmopolitan Party, and they promised me this office in the next election. Gil discovered this and has been blackmailing me ever since.
But why the suicide bomber?
He realized that Nina's project might lead to his death. He was a spiteful man, and he needed a guarantee that he could strike back against her if that happened.
From beyond the grave.
Essentially, I was his guarantee.
He wanted you to kill Nina for him?
Or materials he has on me would be released to the public. My career, my family would be ruined.
So instead of turning you in, I should...
Tell them that Ron Schumann was responsible.
What? Frame an innocent man?
You've spoken to him, Dr. Regis. He is a truly, objectively despicable individual.
You're one to talk.
What I've done was terrible, but I wish to make reparations for what I've done. After this is done, I shall devote my life's work to annihilating corruption in our city. Ron wishes no more than to desecrate and pollute our nation as he has done his own.
You nearly killed us all with that bomber.
I apologize most sincerely for that, Dr. Regis. Had I known someone such as yourself would be present, I would have found other means. Please, consider what this means for the city.
Charlie, what have you found?
I've completed my investigation.
That was most swift.
Though effective, I've no doubt.
Who tried to kill us?
After finding enough evidence to exclude all other parties, the only conclusion possible is that Counselor Dean is responsible.
What?
My word.
Andrew, is this true?
See? He not say anything. Otherwise, he have to tell truth.
Yes, I am responsible. I acted to save my family from my mistakes. I joined this project to protect the city that I love. The rest of you are backstabbing cowards out to loot Newton for your own gain.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Counselor. That leaves us only one option, I'm afraid. Liam.
What are you doing? Wait, stop!
Poor dear Counselor Dean. Tragically thrown from the building by the blast.
You're completely insane.
We're doing what we have to, Charlie. As promised, the information you require. The man who has your kids, your mind-jacker, is a contractor, Jayam Kressel. He's based out of an aerostat currently moored at the Xanadu dockyard.
You haven't changed one bit, Nina.
I hope you find what you're looking for, Charlie. Remember, I'm always here if you need my help.
The uptake reports came in. Looks like there was a 99.1% volume of new code in the embryo.
Oh, that's fantastic. We'll have a viable specimen for testing within days.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have had the same kind of uptake if it was one of the brain-dead ones. So, how did you manage to score these full-scope human embryos?
It would have taken months to get approval from the city council, so we used our own.
Yours. You and Charlie.
They're healthy, and they got all the right uptake markers.
Oh, I'm just kind of surprised Charlie agreed to it, given his previous line of work and all. You have told him, haven't you?
I was going to find a way.
That explains why he's on the warpath, then.
Oh, nuke me. How did he find out?
Vicky!
Uh-oh.
Dr. Chigwa, may I speak to my wife?
Charlie, you better not...
Get out! Dr. Baxter just congratulated me on what a noble gesture I was making for science. Apparently, we volunteered our own embryos for gingineering.
Charlie, calm down. You're making too big a deal out of this.
You think I'm overreacting? You have no idea what I'm upset about.
Sure I do. You're mad because I didn't talk with you about it first.
No! Well, yes, I am, but that's not why I feel like this.
I understand it was a big decision. We've invested a lot of time and energy into having kids. I'd probably be upset in your position, but I'd have hoped you'd trust me to make choices for the both of us.
Oh God, you haven't understood what's wrong with this at all.
Have you seen the uptake results Dr. Chigwa recorded? We've got over 95% success. The neural tissue development is going to be phenomenal.
I don't give a damn about the results.
You know, sometimes your old world sensibilities are charming, but not this time. What is it they believe where you're from? That life begins at conception?
You know damn well what I've done with human engineering in the past. I'm well past being able to object for moral reasons.
We're only using 1, maybe 2 of the embryos we've got for the project. The other 4 are still stored at Al-Rasis.
It's not a matter of whether we can make more or not. We could have thousands of embryos on standby. It'd still be wrong.
It's not as if we're bringing the embryos to term. Their lives aren't going to be affected by the alterations we're making.
We've already affected them by using them in this role.
It's not the fact that we're engineering human embryos. It's that there are embryos.
I spent 2 years weaponizing children. The fact that they were destined, doomed to a purpose.
It's one thing to have your life affected by a quirk of genetics, but when you've been deliberately altered before birth to fit a role.
I'd hoped that I'd escaped it, but seeing it with our own kids, it's just...
I understand, Charlie. I'll talk to Dr. Vargas about it.
He won't be happy. It sounds like he was counting on this.
You'll just have to deal with it.